Figure out how much you are or aren't going to slouch during this thing. Help me out here, buddy.
Sorry, I was going to try and sit like this.
All right.
Sounds like stop moving, Kyle. I'm Kyle Hill. I'm a pastry chef as of about a year and a half ago. I quit my job and making video games and became a pastry chef. A bunch of employees from Sony Online would come in there to the game store and just hang out. I started talking to them and got a job as a customer service rep with the intention of getting into game design, which is what I'd always wanted to do. And got an opportunity to be an apprentice designer and just worked my way up for a long time, working a lot of hours to eventually be a director. And I had already signed up to go to pastry school in the evening. And my work wasn't really interested in me going to school in the evening, and I wasn't really interested in working there anymore, so it just kind of worked out well. I'd started probably about 2 years before that. I'd started doing woodworking just for enjoyment, to let my creative juices out, and then I kind of got into bread baking. My mother-in-law sent me I was going to buy a bread machine, and my mother-in-law sent me her old one from the 1980s, and I tried baking something with it, and it was horrible. It's like a solid rock of dough. And I was like, this isn't right, so I found one of my wife's old baking books and bought a baking stone and kept trying different things out of there, and finally one of them came out really good, and that was basically it. It's like, all right, this makes my house smell awesome. And my friends like to eat my food, so I'm going to do that. I love making bread, so I started my own business, Crust and Crumb Bakery. Eventually I want to have my own gourmet sandwich shop and like breakfast pastries. Just kind of want to be able to be my own boss. I mean, I couldn't have done it without my wife and her income, right? It just wouldn't have been possible because I hadn't saved up enough money to just jump for it. And every now and then still, there was always now that I actually have a business going and I'm making some money and like my brand name's getting out there a little bit at the farmers markets, it's a little easier to not think, well, maybe I should just stop this and go back and make video games because I know I can do that and I can get paid doing that. But now that I have the business started and I'm getting the experience at my actual just job that I'm going to need for the future, it's a lot easier to not think, all right, I should just stop this foolishness and go back to a normal job. I quit this job where I was just like, why am I working so much? And I wasn't working that much when I quit, but I knew it would roll around again to where I'd be working this much. And so I quit my job doing that. And now, when I was going to school for 5 hours at a time. I was working for 6 hours before I was going to school, and I was at the school for 14 hours a day. And I was, again, thinking, why am I doing this? And then eventually, when I got out of school, it was better. And then I started doing the bakery job, and I was working normal hours. And then I started doing my own business. And so on Fridays and Saturdays and Sundays, I'm spending, again, 14-hour days trying to get all the bread ready for the farmers markets. But it's my thing. So I'm not working 14 hours for somebody else. I'm working, my extra overtime is just for me. So it makes it a lot easier to keep going. And, there's some days still where I need a break. And because it's my thing, I can take a break if I want to, and it's up to me whether I want my business to succeed or not really anybody else. So. If I had the money to do it, which is really the only thing that's slowing me down at this point is money, I'd have my own brick and mortar shop selling breads and pastries in the mornings, doing gourmet sandwiches with everything made in-house, farm to table, as much as possible. I want to try and find another culinary chef who wants to do gourmet sandwiches. I've met a couple people who are interested. It's just, about whether that actually can happen or not. And do sandwiches and for lunch and possibly dinner, and just make people happy when they come in and eat. Watching somebody eat the food you've made and just seeing their face light up in enjoyment is probably the biggest thing for me. I think that was one thing I really enjoyed about video games was, you made this thing, whether it was just you or a bunch of other people, and then you got to see everybody enjoy it. And I get that direct, instant feedback when I feed people. And I haven't had anybody throw up yet, so it's always good. I think when I actually have accumulated the money, whether it's through loans or probably going to do a Kickstarter project, I'll be able to actually open up a bakery up here. And there aren't, Leander just did a survey of all the different types of businesses that they don't have, and the restaurant industry is millions of dollars under where it should be for the number of people that live here. The first thing I'll probably do is quit my bakery job and rent a commercial kitchen and just start selling my breads at more farmers markets, and then also try and get a couple wholesalers with different restaurants in the area, and start earning additional money that way. And then eventually, once I get enough, I'll open the brick and mortar store, hopefully somewhere up here, and let people eat good food up here, because there's nowhere to eat in Leander, and it sucks.